.NET 11 is here, and this release goes deep. A faster runtime, a smarter JIT, a leaner SDK, and a pile of new library AP. Is that quietly fix things you've been working around for years? Let's go through it, layer by layer. Runtime, libraries, and SDK. We'll start at the bottom of the stack, the runtime itself. First, minimum hardware requirements have moved forward for both x86/x64 and Arm 64. The runtime now expects more modern instruction sets. That sounds like a small detail, but it's what lets the JIT and the rest of the runtime drop legacy fallback paths, which means better performance and less maintenance overhead across the board. The headline feature, though, is Runtime-Native Async, Runtime Async. This produces cleaner stack traces and lower overhead for async code. And here's the part that matters to you. If your project targets .NET 11.0, you no longer need to opt in with Enable Preview features. It's just on. In fact, the runtime libraries themselves are now compiled with Runtime Async turned on. Underneath that, there's real engineering. The JIT compiles a dedicated runtime async version of synchronous task-returning methods. Async continuations skip capturing execution context when there's no ambient state to preserve, and suspension points are tail-merged to cut down generated code size. Every one of those is a small win, but together they add up to noticeably leaner async code. The JIT itself picked up a batch of improvements too: bounds check elimination, redundant checked context removal, switch expression folding, constant folding on SequenceEqual, and redundant branch elimination. On top of that, new Arm SVE2 intrinsics, better hardware-intrinsic cost modeling, and on x64, math.bigmul now emits a single MUL instruction instead of a multi-step sequence. For mobile developers, there's now in-process crash report logging that captures the managed stack trace and runtime state right before the process exits. Genuinely useful when you're debugging a crash you can't reproduce locally. And if you're publishing native AOT apps, interface dispatch is now faster thanks to a shared dispatch helper, smaller binaries at call sites, and better throughput for interface-heavy code. Finally, SIMD gets new lane construction and composition. AP is CreateGeometricSequence, Zip, Unzip, and the Concat family, available across vectors 64, vector 128, vector 256, vector 512, and the variable length vector. Now let's move up a layer into the libraries, because this is where .NET 11 adds the most surface area. Process gets real attention this release. Run and capture helpers, fire and forget launches, lifecycle methods on safe process handle, tighter handle control, a new process. Startinfo.start. Suspended for starting a process suspended, and Process.TryGetProcess. ById for safe, exception-free process lookup. Compression improves too, better base 64. AP is new methods for zip archive entries, Z standard compression support in System.io.compression, and CRC32 validation when reading zip entries. System.Text.Json gets a long list of upgrades: generic type info retrieval, the new JSON naming policy .Pascal case, per member naming policy overrides, type level ignore conditions, F# discriminated-union support, UTF-8, JSON writer.reset with options, serialize async, enumerable overloads for pipe writer targets, top-level value NDJSON output, and serialization support for C#'s new union types. Speaking of observability, MemoryCache now emits built-in OpenTelemetry metrics out of the box, and System.Runtime.Compiler services adds discriminated-union scaffolding, union attribute, and iUnion, the compiler-level plumbing that backs C#15's new union types. There's more moving quickly: tar archive format selection, with GNU sparse format 1.0 support. Console now respects the force_color environment variable. TLS handshake hardening and certificate validation alerts on Linux. HTTP/2 automatic downgrade for Windows authentication scenarios. LINQ gets join improvements across the board, full join plus tuple returning overloads of join and group join on enumerable, queryable, and async enumerable alike. For cryptography, there's a new X25519 Diffie-Hellman class for X25519 key exchange. Random adds generic overloads, next integer and next binary float, that work with any numeric generic type. And EqualityComparer.create is a new factory method that builds a comparer straight from a key selector. For networking, QuickStream.priority enables HTTP/3-stream prioritization, and MediaTypeNames.video adds proper video MIME type constants. 4 new zero-copy stream types arrive too: read-only memory stream, writable memory stream, read-only sequence stream, and string stream, all wrapping in-memory data without copying it. Validation goes async. System.componentModel.data annotations adds async validation attribute, iasync validatable object, and new validator.validate object async methods. And Microsoft.extensions.diagnostics adds rule-based activity tracing configuration, so you can control what gets traced declaratively without hand-wiring activity listener instances, rounding out the libraries, the same cross-lane vector operations we saw in the runtime, CreateGeometricSequence, Zip, Unzip, and Concat, extended across the full vector family. Now let's talk tooling, because the SDK team shipped a lot this release too. SDK installers on Linux and Mac OS are smaller now, thanks to assembly deduplication, plus extra savings from skipping cross-gen on .NET tools-only assemblies. The CA1873 analyzer is improved, less noise, clearer diagnostic messages. And .NET SLN can now create and edit solution filter files, .slnf, directly from the CLI. File-based apps get a genuinely nice upgrade. #include lets you split a single file app across multiple files, and you can even pull in a compiled DLL directly with #, include ./lib/mylib.dll. There's a new .NET Run-E option for passing environment variables straight from the command line, and .NET Watch adds Aspire app host integration, automatic crash recovery, and device selection for MAUI and mobile projects. CLI telemetry has switched. OpenTelemetry now replaces application insights. There's also a new NativeAOT CLI entry point that serves the entire command surface, including -- help for every built-in command, and launching tools or external commands, entirely out of process from the AOT path, skipping manage CLI startup altogether. Testing gets a lot of love. .NET test adds -- no - dependencies, a .NET _test _ runner environment variable, -- use - current - runtime, -- test - modules. Exclusion patterns per assembly test counts and a live display of tests as they run. Built-in test templates now support XUnit v3, defaulting to Microsoft.testing.platform, and Unit with an opt-in -- test - runner option. On the container side, the SDK's container publishing support now handles multi-architecture image builds with Podman, and TypeScript compilation output from Razor-class libraries now integrates correctly with the static web assets pipeline. 2 smaller but sharp-edged fixes: the .NET CLI no longer suppresses the MS build server when .NET _CLI _use _MS build _server is unset, and the OTLP telemetry exporter now activates on any standard OTEL _exporter _OTLP _ environment variable. That's the runtime, the libraries, and the SDK, but .NET 11 spans further than that. ASP.NET Core has its own dedicated set of updates. C#15 ships 2 notable language features: collection expression arguments and union types. The language level feature backed by that union, attribute and iunion scaffolding we saw earlier. EF Core has its own release notes, and so do the extensions libraries. And if you're building desktop apps, both Windows Forms and WPF have their own What's New pages for .NET 11. So, Runtime Async goes mainstream, the JIT gets sharper, the libraries fill in a dozen long requested gaps, and the SDK gets faster and friendlier to script against. So, Runtime Async goes mainstream, the JIT gets sharper, the libraries fill in a dozen long requested gaps, and the SDK gets faster and friendlier to script against. .NET 11 is currently in preview with general availability expected in November 2026. You can download it today and start trying this out. Links in the description. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.